Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Life According to Dana. I pray this new year has brought you in a good place, but if not, that's what I'm here for today to give you a little bit of encouragement. I know it's been a little while since we got together, but the holiday season always brings um, a lot of motion to my ministry, Dana Brown Ministries Incorporated. So I have to kind of shift my focus at different times of the year to do multiple things. But I am so blessed to report that we had an amazing year in 2023. We were able to reach so many people. And I just want to take a moment to say thank you to all those that partnered with us in 2023 to be such a blessing to so many people's lives. We did our toy giveaway, we did dinners for people for Thanksgiving, for Christmas, and we were able to give out turkeys again this year. And it was a great overall season. But if you want, more information on that, you can always hit the Linktree link in my bio or in this the viewing for YouTube, or it'll also be provided across multiple um, networks so you can see it for yourselves what we did, and you can always also visit our website at danabrownministries.org. So enough for the commercial. The commercial interjections. Let's get on with it. So again, I say, welcome to season 2 of Life According to Dana. It was such a blessing the first season, just being able to share my thoughts, share my heart with so many of you. Got some great feedback, got some, great responses, great testimonies, and it was encouraging to know that so many people are being impacted by what they're hearing and what they're seeing, and that just really lifts up the Lord, and he gets all the glory. He really does, out of my life and everything that I do. But I just wanted to share with you this week about a trip I took. I went to New York City to speak at a conference, and I got stranded in New York City from Sunday to Tuesday. And I didn't really understand what was going on. I was sitting at the airport on Sunday and ready to leave and come back home. And I knew we were having really crazy inclement weather in Buffalo, but somehow they managed to have a football game on Saturday. But when it came to Sunday, the weather had shifted and we weren't able to get out of the airport. So about an hour before I was supposed to leave, I saw everything went red on my phone. Now, I'm sorry, but I am not up on technology and the things that, these different apps do. So I'm sitting there thinking I accidentally canceled my flight. So I jump up, run to the counter, and as I'm explaining to the girl what happened, she was like, "Oh, your flight to Buffalo, yeah, was canceled." And they instructed me that I needed to go down the hall a few steps. When I got down the hall, got to the counter for help, I'm gonna tell you, it couldn't have been more than 5 or 10 minutes had went by. And in that short amount of time, the earliest flight that was available was Tuesday. So I was like, okay, it's Sunday. What am I supposed to do for 2 days? So I spoke to the lady that was hosting me, Clarissa Avila, and she did an amazing job accommodating the delay. So I got to another hotel that was closer to the airport, and I just had to wait for 2 days. Me and myself, I was ready to come home. Didn't understand the delay. I was frustrated at first, but even in my frustration, I felt this peace and this calm. So, the word of God tells us that you can get the peace that surpasses all your understanding and blah, blah, blah. And, but when you're in those situations and you actually have to live through them, you kind of get a deeper understanding of what they're talking about. So here I was, safe, provided for, um, no real difficulties, had somebody walk me step by step, through how to navigate through the airport, how to get on the train, how to go to the shuttle station, how to get on the shuttle, go to the hotel, and blah, blah, blah. All these things were taken care of for me. And, and it really blessed me, but it also reminded me of the care of the Father, how God takes care of us. He always has a plan. He has provisions that are laid up for us. And a lot of times we're not aware of them. And my son said something to me that was so profound. He said, "You're delayed, but you're delayed on purpose." So I didn't catch that. I got it, and I knew it was a word when he said it, and so did he, but it was like living that out, being delayed on purpose. So as I navigated through this, and I remember when I got to the hotel, the young lady that was the receptionist, she was like, "Oh my goodness, who was making your reservation?" This person called me so many times to make sure that you were okay. And I said, "She just operates in a spirit of excellence." And see, I want you all to understand that when God is in a thing and when God is moving on your behalf, always anticipate excellence. And this thing was such a smooth transition. By the time I got to my room, all I could do was just sit down and go, Now I went from my flight being canceled to getting rebooked to getting into a nice hotel. Everything was taken care of, and all I had to do, hear me, was walk through it. And that's all we have to do is walk through our trials and our tribulations if our confidence and our trust and our assurance is resting in God. We can have all these chaotic things take place, all these difficulties just jump up out of nowhere. And here I was alone, away from home, unexpectedly. And I'm sitting there, and the longer I sat, the enemy kept reminding me of the things that I was lacking. And it was all a distraction to keep me from focusing on what was actually happening in my favor. See, that's what the enemy does. He doesn't want you to focus in on the blessing. He wants you to focus in on the negative. He wants you to shift your focus to everything that's wrong instead of everything that's going right. And at every step that I took, God had someone, a ram in the bush, whatever you want to call it. God had someone that was there extending favor to me, from the clerk at the counter, the first counter, to the second counter. While I was standing there trying to figure out how I was supposed to correct the situation, she was already booking my flight. I didn't even know I needed to do that, but she was moving on my behalf. So then I got, as I said, every step was taken care of for me. I knew exactly where to go. Someone had done the work behind the scenes for me. Someone was in my ear instructing me on how to proceed. And these are the things that God has laid up for you. You're worried about the situation that you're sitting in right now, but you're not seeing that God already has something moving behind the scenes on your behalf. So as you face every hurdle and every adversity, all you have to do is keep walking. Just keep walking through it. Just keep moving through it. The path has been cleared already for you. God has already laid out your path in front of you. He goes before you. So as I said, as I got to my room, I sat there and I was like, I have medication no more. I have none of my medication. I was not anticipating being stranded. So now I'm stranded now for Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. And so my immediate response, I called the pharmacy. Of course, this was the holiday weekend, so everything was pretty much closed that could have assisted me. And so the girl that answered the phone, here it is again, the right people in the right place to address my issues. So the pharmacy technician that answered the phone, she said, "Hold on, let me switch you over to the pharmacist so she can explain to you the situation." And I said, "Okay." So the pharmacist gets on the phone, looked through all my medications and everything. She said, "Listen, Dana, you're going to be fine. You should be fine to go this many days without any of your medication. You'll be fine. Just watch this and watch that." And I said, okay. So every panic that I could have had, God had someone there to kill it. God had someone in place that was an expert in their field to address my situation. What an awesome God we serve, and what a good Father. What a faithful God we serve. And so everything that I needed was taken care of. So I just wanted to take a few moments today to encourage you and to remind you that God has gone before you to right whatever situation you're in. All you have to do is keep moving. All you have to do is keep walking. Just get to your destination. It's already been taken care of. Be encouraged. And I got there and I sat, and I remember my sister, she was explaining to me, the young lady that was hosting me. She said, I just believe God wants you to rest. Now, here's the irony of this. The conference that I had just spoken was called Selah. So some people say that's a pause. And as I studied that, it also means taking an intentional break to ponder what has just been spoken, what has just been communicated, what has just been said. So here I was, finished up my assignment, and God was giving me a moment to reflect, a moment to take a pause. And I took the opportunity to really take a pause and examine 2023 and all the things that had led me up to this point. And when I tell you that there was a gratefulness that stirred up in my heart for how God provided everything, everything He gave me to do, He supplied the resource. God will always supply the resources for whatever He gives you to do. And I got a chance to reflect, Selah, take a pause, an intentional pause on these things. And God is so faithful. And I just want to remind you today that just keep moving. The path really has been cleared. You may not see it, you may not understand the delay, but your delay is with purpose. So as I journeyed back, and let me say this in transparency. Monday, I got antsy, even though the Lord said, "Be still." But Monday, I was almost getting ready to try and take things into my own hands. I know y'all don't do that. I know it's just me. But so I called the airline. I'm on the phone with Delta, trying to see if I can get out of this place a day early, if there was anything available. I called Delta and they said, you are caller 152. Due to high call volume, you are caller number 152. And they suggested using their online services, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, 152? That must be wrong. So I hung up and called back, and I had jumped up to 174 or something like that. And that's when I heard the Lord say, be still and wait till Tuesday. So at this point of the journey, I was like, oh, it must be a plan already laid out for this. So I'm going to just be still and wait till Tuesday. So I waited till Tuesday. Everything, again, fell into place, got where I was going, got to the airport, found somewhere to sit. Any type of animosity or delays that were there, God had already worked it out, had a plan. Everything was taken care of. Get to my seat, sat there, supposed to leave around 8. I think it was really weird time, like 8:23 or something like that. About 7:15, 7:30, delayed. Came up on the screen. Our flight was delayed. Our flight was delayed probably 6 or 7 times. I kind of lost count after a point. But the people I was sitting with, we became like this little community because we were sharing adversity. We were sharing a struggle. And we were told at the beginning of the situation what was really happening. Our co-pilot was there. Our flight attendants were there, but we had no pilot. Come on, y'all. We had no pilot to take control of the flight. So we had to wait for the pilot. And our pilot was stranded himself in Baltimore. His flight, we don't know, was supposed to leave at 6 something in the morning, and it had been delayed and delayed and delayed. So we're watching everybody else go to the plane, but we're sitting in the lobby. So eventually, probably around 11:30 or so, our pilot landed and they started boarding the plane. So we get on the plane, everything's going smoothly. The pilot gets on the intercom system and he throws Delta Airlines under the bus. It was hysterical. He's like, yeah, the reason I'm late is because they wouldn't allow any flights to land. And, he went on into his explanation. And it was just one thing after another thing, but my eyes were focused on getting home. So all the delays that came after that, we had to go for de-icing of the plane that had sat there since the day before. We had to wait on the runway. So we got on that plane around 11:30, quarter to 12, but we actually didn't leave JFK till about 1:30. So we finally get to Buffalo. And when we land in Buffalo, there was no gate for us to deboard. So we're sitting there looking at the gates, looking at the final destination, and we could not deboard the plane until a gate was ready. Come on. So a lot of times you can see the end, you can see where you're going, but it just seems like you just can't get there, right? So, but you just have to wait. You're delayed with purpose. So we're waiting and we finally get off. And you just heard a plane load of people that we all looked like we wanted to kiss the ground because there were people that actually have been delayed longer than I have. And so we get home, get out to my car that I had left at the airport, running up a bill. But thank God I was able to pay that. Get to leaving the airport, the checkout, and the credit card reader is frozen. So I see the ridiculous amount of money that I owe for being parked at the airport for 5 days. And I go over 2 lanes once they tell me, oh, just come to the window. So I drive over to the window. I get to the window and the price of my ticket has gone up that fast because another hour switched over to another hour. I'll get on that another day. Bottom line, got home safely. I am so grateful. But I just wanted to share this experience with you to encourage you that you may be delayed, but you're delayed with purpose, but also that God has gone before you and He has everything that you need to get you to your final destination. Again, Life According to Dana. Welcome to season 2. So good to talk with you guys. Hope to see you again next week. Check out the links in my bio. I love you guys. Be encouraged and just have a blessed day. Take care. Bye.